I do not own the rights to this music. Hello, and welcome to Sunday School Summary with Brother Ron. Sunday School lesson for Sunday, May the 11th, 2025. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers on the YouTube channel. Our reference material for the Sunday School Summary is based upon the International Sunday School Lesson Series as published by the Sunday School Publishing Board. We are discussing Tabernacle Sacrifices and Atonement as the title of the Spring 2025 lesson series, and it connects the Old Covenant sacrifices and offerings as a bridge to understand the New Testament's understanding of Christ's sacrifice. The title of our 10th lesson from Unit 3 of the Spring 2025 lesson series is titled A Grand Opening, and that is the dedication of the temple constructed by King Solomon. The key verse comes from 2 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 3, and it reads, "All the Israelites saw the fire come down. They also saw the Lord's glory above the temple. They went down on their knees on the flat stones of the yard with their faces towards the ground. They worshiped the Lord and they thanked him. They said, 'He is good. His faithful love continues forever.'" The title of today's lesson, A Grand Opening, comes from the book of 2 Chronicles. 1st and 2nd Chronicles was originally written as one book and the author is unknown. 1st Chronicles documents the history and genealogy of the Israelites and parallels the same time frame as those of the book of 2nd Samuel. In addition to the genealogy of the Jewish people, the book also covers the actions and events during the reign of King David and Solomon after the return of the Israelites to Jerusalem after 70 years in exile. The book records King David's walk with God through his many triumphs, sins, sacrifices, and atonements for his sins. The book also records King David's organization of worship and preparation for the building of the temple of God, which God forbade him to complete, but entrusted this responsibility for the construction of the temple to his son, King Solomon, which brings us to today's lesson. There are two summary lesson points for today. The temple accepted, and that's from 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verses 1 through 3. The temple dedicated, and that's from 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verses 4 through 7 and verse 11. The passages for the lesson today revolve around the key words of faith, wisdom, and glory. And we know that faith is a complete trust, assurance, belief, or confidence in God. It is King Solomon's faith and devotion to God as reflected in the value of his sacrifice in the dedication of the temple in today's lesson. Wisdom is the ability to apply experience, knowledge, and understanding to produce good judgment. It is the wisdom of the children of Israel to praise and worship God in response to the power and splendor of God exhibited over the temple in today's lesson. Glory, its praise, honor, splendor, and exaltation. It is the honor and praise of the Israelites in response to the visual power and splendor of God as reflected in the temple in today's lesson. The temple is accepted is our first summary lesson points from Second Chronicles chapter 7, verses 1 through 3. And these passages, the glory of the Lord fills the temple, indicating that God is pleased with the temple. He says that when King Solomon had finished his prayer, fire came down from heaven, and it destroyed the burnt offerings and the other sacrifices. And the Lord's bright glory filled the temple, and said that the priests did not go near the temple because the Lord's glory had completely filled the temple. And all the Israelites saw this fire coming down, and they went down on their knees on the flat stones of the yard, and their faces were pointed to the ground. They worshiped the Lord and thanked him, and they said, "He is good. His faithful love continues forever." Our second summary point is the temple is dedicated from 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verses 4 through 7 and verse 11. And these passages, the writer records the sacrifices and celebrations for the dedication of the temple. It says that then the king and all the people offered sacrifices to the Lord. And this is King Solomon that we're talking about. And King Solomon offered 22,000 cows, 120,000 sheep and goats as a sacrifice. In this way, the king and all the people offered the temple as a gift to God. So the priests and the Levites stood in their places, and the Levites held the musical instruments that King David had made them to thank the Lord. And they sang these words to praise the Lord. They says, "His faithful love continues forever." And the priests stood on the other side, and they made music with their trumpets. And all the Israelites were standing while all of this was happening. And on the same day, Solomon gave the Lord the yard that was in front of the temple for burnt offering. He offered burnt offerings and grain offerings to the Lord, and he also offered the fat from the friendship offering there. And the bronze altar that he had constructed was too small to hold all of these offerings. So he made sacrifices in the middle of the yard instead. And it says, and then the Lord speaks to Solomon. In verse 11, it says, Solomon had finished building the Lord's temple and the king's palace. He had done everything that he had wanted to do for the temple and his palace. And he had done it all with the help of God. This is Brother Ron with the Sunday School Summary for Sunday, May the 11th, 2025. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed week, and we hope to see you next Sunday for another edition of Sunday School Summary with Brother Ron.